Setting up WordPress in its own directory, it's fairly straightforward for a standalone WordPress install, but when it comes to multi-site, it's just slightly different. Now you can follow the official documentation, which is this, but in this video I'll be showing you how to do it for a multi-site. So what we're going to be using is this domain. Now you can see it's currently forbidden, and that's because it doesn't have anything in there at the moment. Now generally when you install WordPress, you would have it all installed here at the root. But of course that can be very messy because there's a lot of files and you might still want to add other folders that don't relate to WordPress. So the best thing to do, which is what I always recommend, is create another folder. You can call it anything you want and then just install it into that folder. Now to do this is fairly straightforward. I generally use Softaculous, which comes with my cPanel. So you can see already I have two installation of WordPress that are here, and you can see it has a directory that they're installed in. Now, of course, if you go to these domains, they will just go straight to the domain without the / and folder. Like I said, I do all of this through cPanel. If you're a cPanel user, you should have your Softaculous just here. And when you click on it, you can see it brings you back to this page. So what we're going to do is install multi-site on that domain. And then what we want to do next is select the directory. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm just going to call it WPM, just for WordPress Multisite. And the most important part is to just make sure you obviously select multi-site enable. So this does a lot of the configuration for you in the WP config, which you'll see later on in the video. Now I'm not going to change the rest of it, but I'll just scroll down and I want to make note of the database. So I'll actually change this to WPM demo. And that's really it. So we'll just install that. And if we head back over to the FTP client, by the way, I am using CyberDuck. And you can see I also have a text editor, which is VS Code. And if we refresh this, we should see the WPM folder, and this should have all of our WordPress installation. As you can see, it's a lot cleaner. You know, it doesn't take up all the space in your root directory, and it just kind of segregates and keeps it in its own section. So we'll just head back over to the browser. Now, if we go to the domain and refresh, it'll still be forbidden, obviously, because it's currently living in this location. So if we go to /WPM, you can see it is available here. Now, obviously we want it to be available at the root, which is the domain itself. So let's make some configurations. We'll go back to the FTP client and have your text editor open. Now you can use the text editor that comes with cPanel in the file manager, but honestly I think this is a better option just because it keeps it all local. So what we want to do is open up this folder, and the first thing we're going to handle is the htaccess file. So we'll double click this to open it in our default editor. And then what you need to do is just copy everything that's in here. So you can do Control-C or just right click and copy. Now what you need to do next is either remove the file or you can just rename it. Now personally, I just like to call it original in all caps, just so I know if I ever come back in, that's the original htaccess file. Now the reason why I ask you to copy that is because generally you would have a .htaccess already in your root directory, but in this case we'll just actually create the file because it's not existing at the moment. So all lowercase .htaccess, and we'll open this in the text editor. Now if you have an existing htaccess file, what you need to do is paste all of this at the very end of the last line. So in our case, there's nothing in there, so we'll just paste it all and we'll save. So Control-S on VS Code. So that's the htaccess file handled. Next, we need to take care of the WP config. So this is it here, should be in the root of the WPM folder. And we'll double click again to open this up. And what we want to do is just scroll down. And we should see a comment that says multi-site and some multi-site config. Now if you're doing a standalone WordPress installation, you won't see this, and of course if you're moving from a standalone, then you can actually follow on from here. Just open your WP config file and do the exact same. So next what we need to do is look for the path current site. So we'll take this off and just leave it as / for the root, and we'll just simply save. Now if we go back to the browser and we come back to the domain, if we refresh, you can see nothing happens. So the last thing to do within your directory is to take the index.php and you want to bring that into your root directory of your domain. So what I'm going to do is just copy by holding Control and dragging it out. And if we close the WPM, you should see this here. So we'll open this up. So what you need to do is basically give it the path to the directory that your WordPress lives in. So in our case, it's just going to be /WPM and /WP blog header. So if we open this up again, you should be able to see that in here. So we'll do a Control S to save, back to the browser and go back to our domain, refresh. You can see it says error established in the database. So that's essentially the last part you need to take care of. So we'll go back to Softaculous and we'll go to cPanel. And in your cPanel, you want to look for your PHP My Admin. You can search it up here, or you can just go in. So you need to find that database. And in our case, we did call it WPM demo. And generally it comes up at the bottom if it's the last database that you've created. So we'll open this up and we need to look for 2 records within the database. So the first one is the blogs. So we'll open the blogs here. And what we want to do here is remove WPM. What I like to do is select all and just keep it as /. And then the last one to change is the options. So we'll go into options and you want to remove WPM for both the home and the site as well. So we'll take all that off. And now if we go back to the domain and refresh, you can see our domain goes into the WordPress. And if we do anything like /sample, I'll just click it here, you can see it all works. You might need to adjust your permalinks as well. So if we go back to Softaculous, which is just right here, and we just log in this way with the admin, we'll go into settings and then permalinks. Now personally, what I like to do is keep it as post name and we'll just save. So you might need to adjust your permalinks if you're still having any issues routing to the WordPress website from your domain. So you can see this is a multi-site. We have our network admin, and of course if we visit the site, you can see everything's all working. That's pretty much it. It's fairly straightforward. There's not much of a difference with standalone WordPress as opposed to multi-site. But if you have any more questions in regards to this video, do ask it in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.